Hello everyone, we are here to talk about effective communication skills. I'm just waiting for everyone to join in. Hello. So many familiar faces. Very nice to see you all. Waiting for Arif Hocam to join. I hope you're all fine. And let me check my phone. Merhaba, hello. There are so many people who haven't left us or felt us alone. Thank you to all of you who joined our chats. Thank you. As I said, just waiting for Arif Hocam to join in. There are so many live Instagram programs and also webinars, but you don't leave us, if you don't make us feel isolated, you keep our company with us. Thank you very much for those of you who come and join every week. I'll just check. I think he's having some problems. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you, Hocam. Welcome.
Thank you very much, and I would like to say hello to all the audience listeners who are with us right now.
Thank you very much. I'll just wait for just 1 minute. Going in.
Okay, let me check my headphones. I think without the headphones it would be better.
Okay, yes, that's fine. We can hear you, but not now.
Okay, is it okay right now? Do you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well. Thank you. How is life? I've heard you've been very busy.
Yes.
As usual, I think that's your routine now.
As usual, yeah, I know. I was working from very early this morning, from 6 o'clock up to now, and I had a short lunch break, and on my way back to my office, you called me.
I see. Thank you for saving some time for us, Hocam.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I guess we can start now. We have so regards, love and regards. And okay, so my name is Sibel Ergün Elverici. I'm here for İSTANBUL Öğretmen Akademileri. Most of you now know and are familiar with it. oops, sorry, I think, okay. And as İstanbul Öğretmen Akademileri, we try to put the human beings at the very center and try to professionals and our teachers, our valuable teachers. Let me give some brief information about Professor Arif Sarıçoban. He graduated PhD in Çukurova University. As most of our guests, he has been involved in so many projects and administrative works, so it's impossible to cite them one by one, but he has some very important publications and very like books like Handbook for Teaching Foreign Languages to Young Learners in Primary Schools, Instructional Technology Teaching Studies, and some others. He is also the editor of a well-known journal in the field. I'd like to thank him again for joining us here, saving his valuable time, dedicating his valuable time for us. Hocam, welcome again. I hope it's going to be a nice, lively chat. Our topic is effective communication skills, but before moving on to the effective side of it, would you please tell us what is
introduction of me? I would like to first focus on the importance of 5 elements in communication. That's what I would like to draw your attention to is the senses. We have 5 senses, you know, without which the communication cannot take place. I would like to start with first indicating that communication is a series. Then, you know, smelling, seeing, tasting, and touching, you know, without which the communication cannot take place, you know. And as to your question, very briefly, that is, what is communication? I would like to focus on the process of communication. The process of communication is what allows us to interact with others around us, either live in front of us, materials, you know, communicating with our readers, and without it, it would be unable to share knowledge and experiences with anything outside of ourselves, you know, outside ourselves. Common forms of communication, okay, include speaking, listening, speaking, writing, gestures, mimics, touching, and the like, you know. So we would like to talk about communication skills, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do we mean by, we hear it a lot, we keep hearing communication skills, the importance of communication skills, but what do we mean by communication skills?
Okay, communication skills are a kind of abilities, is the ability to use the language, okay, in terms of receptive processing, and express information that has its expressive value can be viewed as a critical element, in one's own life, career, personal lives, okay, that we lead. So then I would like to touch upon another important issue, which is the process of communication, if you permit so.
Yeah, of course. That would be nice.
Okay. As to the process of communication, it is the process of sending and receiving the information among people. There is a kind of feedback in between the sender and the receiver. Okay, the sender, encodes the message, and the receiver decodes the message, and in between there is a medium. There is a channel to be able to, do this process in between sender and receiver. So if this realizes the way we want, then the communication process, okay, we communicate to each other. What about its effectiveness? Effective.
Yes. Yes, it's our topic. What about effective communication?
Okay, so in terms of effective communication, I would like to talk about the meaning and definition first, okay? What effective communication is, and the uses of effective communication, and the 7 C's of effective communication. And I would like to touch upon some facts about effective communication, okay? As to the meaning, it is a two-way process, okay? Sender and receiver, listener and speaker, reader and writer, sending the right message. The sender is trying to send the right message, and to whom? Of course, to the right party, to the right person. And it is important, of course, to know the psychology of the people you are in effectively for it to be effective enough. So for communication to be effective, it is necessary to know the circumstances of the counter entity. The effective communication includes all aspects of visual, auditory, kinesthetic, language elements, okay, and to readers. So very shortly, we can define effective communication process is a kind of communication which produces intended, okay, intended, or let's say desired result, okay, because we will be able to see whether or not our message, okay, is right, because we would like to see, observe the desired behavior, okay, by our listeners and by our readers. All right. So that unlocks all the doors. Okay, and it is the key to getting cooperation with your students, okay, in the class and outside the class. So, and it is a kind of key that allows us to feel.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, let me feel understood. So, how happy you are, right? Just think for a while.
So it's not only, I'm sorry to interrupt, but so it's not only between individuals, but of course in classrooms language teachers, we need effective communication. We need to make sure that we are understood.
Just imagine you are a student in the classroom and you feel understood by your peers and by your teachers. Can you imagine how happy you are at that moment? Yeah, that's what I mean, you know. So it is a kind of key again for resolving conflicts, problems, issues between the teachers in the classroom and the students, you know. And of course, as language learners in the classroom. So it is the key to let students know what your needs are. That's the most important part, and how best to meet those needs in the classroom. So, and we can also call it as the key to fewer conflicts, okay, to lessen the conflicts in the classroom, and also, let me say, in the playground, in the role plays, okay, in front of the class, maybe then later on outside the classroom borders. And it is also the key to build self-confidence, okay, and self-esteem, because then by time you will gain confidence, okay, you will become a self-confident individual in the classroom as a learner, okay. And it is the key which helps us to feel listened, okay, listened by others, as teachers by students, as students by peers, other students, and by your teachers. And it is also a kind of key to mutual respect, okay. There should be a mutual respect in the classroom, and it helps to to provide less resistance, and helps to establish more communication, everyone feels safe, you know, okay.
So it's the key that unlocks almost all the problems, all the doors, according to you said, because first of all, it makes us feel that we are understood. It lessens the problems. It gives us some sort of self-confidence and increases our self-esteem. And you also talked about mutual respect. So these are so it is the key. I feel like it's the center of everything in our classes. But before I forget, you said something like 7 C's of communication. If you have finished with this, hocam.
Just there are a couple of things that I would like to say. Sure. For example, communication, you know, assists fun in the classroom. It helps to provide more fun in the classroom for everyone, okay? And they should take pleasure out of their learning. So it's a kind of process by which information is exchanged between peers, okay, by any other aspects. And it refers to the process by which one person, an individual, stimulates meaning in the mind of another, okay, through verbal and non-verbal messages. So the management of messages, you know, for the purpose of creating meaning, it helps us to create meaning. Okay, so you were talking about the 7 C's of effective communication, right? You would like to hear about that. Okay, good. And let me first name them one by one, and I would like to talk about them. Okay. Yes, one by one. Okay. The first thing is completeness. okay? Completeness. The second one is consciousness. Then number 3, we can say consideration. Number 4, clarity. Number correctness, okay? So let me continue with completeness, right? If you don't mind. If you don't mind. So the information conveyed in the message should be complete, okay? For the communication to be effective. The sender must take into consideration the receiver's mindset, and convey the message accordingly. So you should get to know your listeners, okay, your readers. Complete communication enhances, enlarges, builds a large view of organization. Okay, so it helps to organize. And complete information always gives additional information wherever required, whenever required, and it leaves no question in the minds of the receiver. You should not leave any question in the mind of the receiver. Complete information helps in better decision-making process. Vital information. So as a result, you will observe that complete information persuades, okay, the audience. Yes, that's the most important part to me, okay? And when we come to the consciousness, consciousness means communicating, all right? What you want to convey in at least possible words, okay? You will use less words, but to mean more. Consciousness is a necessity for effective communication, as we all know, because conscious communication provides short, essential information in limited words, in limited vocabulary. And conscious message is more appealing and comprehensive, non-repetitive, okay? Non-repetitive in nature. Okay. And as to the consideration, so effective communication process should take audience into consideration, as we all know, but by what? By knowing the viewpoints, the background, mindset, educational level, etc., and etc. So consideration implies stepping into, okay, stepping into, let's say, stepping into the shoes of others. So establishing empathy, okay, that's what I call in my I have a new term for it, otherness theory. It's a kind of theory, otherness theory. Being able to, okay, establish an empathy with others. So otherness theory. And consideration ensures that self-respect of the audience is maintained and their emotions are not harmed. Feelings are important, okay? You should not harm their feelings, their emotions. We are all here. And consider the needs and requirements of the audience. Requirements, okay, of your listeners, of your riders. And as to the clarity, my picture is implies emphasizing on a specific goal. There must be a specific goal okay, we should achieve our objective at a time rather than trying to move away from the track. Clarity helps, on the other hand, understand, comprehend, figure out, make out the message easily. And complete ideas will enhance the meaning of the message. It will give power to the message, okay? To the message you are trying to convey to others. And clarity comes with the use of exact, appropriate, and concrete words. And next, I would like to talk about concreteness, okay? Concrete communication simply implies being particular, okay, and clear rather than being fuzzy and general. And it shows how to develop the same kind of competence in the listener, and it will help to strengthen the repetition of organization, and concrete information should not be misinterpreted, okay? Most importantly. Then another important element is courtesy that I would like to talk about. Courtesy means being polite, kind, judicious, enthusiastic, convincing, okay? And it is an important element of effective communication with all these aspects, you know, by being polite, okay, kind, enthusiastic, etc., and etc. It reflects the nature and the character of the sender of the message. So it is not at all, you know, biased in nature. Okay, so it is the same as respect, you know, as to give respect. In that sense, with courtesy, you give respect, you become respectful, you know, for others, and then you expect to see the same respect from others. Okay, so I think the 7 C's could be, you know, could be a kind of should be a kind of picture in your mind that you should not never forget, you know.
Yeah. Okay, I think they are all, each and every one of them are very important. It would take hours if we focus on each of them in very much in detailed explanations about the 7 C's of communication. And we understand that it's the key that unlocks the doors, solves problems, increases awareness also. But we all know and experience communication problems, and there are some barriers to effective communication. As language teachers, it's extra important for us to know about these barriers and how to overcome them. Would you tell us the ways we could overcome the effective communication problems?
Okay, then of course, yes, it is an unavoidable fact that there are some barriers to effective communication. In terms of our profession in the classroom, yes, there are some to keep in mind and to use them in the classroom. For effective communication skills, you should understand. Check for understanding first, okay? Whether or not there is a problem in understanding. Otherwise, the communication, will be broken. Okay, there will be no communication anymore if your listener does not understand you. So you should check for understanding, and that's why, please be brief, be clear as much as possible. Okay, and remember one of the rules of maxims. Become confused. Okay, so crises, maxims. Quantity. Okay, of course, quality and others. And try to use, in that sense, very simple words, understandable words. Do not talk too much academic or scientific language, okay, in the classroom. No one will understand you.
That's what we...
They are not literature learners, English language and literature, ELL learners. They are not linguistic learners in the classroom. They are EFL learners with very limited vocabulary. So use simple words, okay, and very brief, okay. Good. Do not use so many compound and complex sentences to them.
Okay.
And as you see, that's, I think, I don't know if I really use too much body language, mimics, gestures, that's my personality. Smile all the time and try to use eye contact, establish eye contact, because I always you see, with this tone. So you see, I try to make it understood by the importance of eye contact, understood by my learners. Gestures, tone of voice. Change your tone of voice. If you use the same tone of voice all the time in the class, it will become a boring lesson. Really.
Yes.
The same
Yes.
monotonous. Some ups and downs, but please do not exaggerate the issue. Okay. Another important issue is the cultural sensitivity. All right. So you need to be very careful about the cultural issues in the classroom. Everything is different. Okay, and if you say that, no, this is gavur icadı, then you will not be able to teach the foreign language as much easier.
I think we tend to ignore sometimes, but it's very important to be aware of the differences.
Okay, and remember my otherness theory, establishing empathy and, okay,
yes,
the others, and trying to effective questioning techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Not all pieces from the text and answer to you. So it is not. It's not the way that we true false exercise types. Then the answer is easy. It is either true or false, and sometimes we have not stated or don't know options, but make it a little bit communicative. Okay, and you can ask your students and give me some evidences. You should try to have some kind of discussions, very little discussions, by referring to the text and establishing communication and guiding them to use the language. Okay, rewarding in the classroom, and of course, connecting with the audience in that way. And at the very end, never forget to make a summary or summarizing what has been discussed, what has been studied in the classroom, and let them summary. Okay, let them let them summarize either orally or in the written. Okay, at that point, please try to help them by giving some clues. All right, and these could be some ways of overcoming the barriers to effective communication.
Okay, thank you very much. They've been very helpful, and it's nice, so very nice following you, John. By the way, you talked about your body language and movements, but it's very nice to follow you that way. In all the live chats, we had the term communicative competence coming up. So since yes, and etc., how would you define communicative competence?
Communicative competence is a kind of degree, the degree to which communicators go and appropriate interaction. So this is a kind of ability to interact well enough with others. So the term reminds me some kind of important issues like accuracy, clarity, appropriateness in the communication process. So it's a kind of degree to which individuals or people perceive, and they satisfy their goals in a given social opportunity to pursue, to convince their other subjectively more important goals, of course. So you should have a certain goal, a specific goal in mind for communication competence. And communicative competence, in a sense, it also refers to the either conscious or unconscious knowledge of an individual about language and about other aspects of language use. So in that sense, we can talk about knowledge of how to use the language in a social context, of course, in order to fulfill the communicative functions. And lastly, the knowledge of how to combine utterances and communicative functions with respect to some discourse principles, okay? Discourse principles. Relationship between utterances, between sentences, what I mean. So communicative competence, in a sense, relies on the context, okay? The social context in which the interaction takes place, all right? And communication which is successful, a successful communication, okay, with one group in one situation, may not be perceived as one situation to another, okay, from one context to another context.
Hocam, Sam, what about the criteria for assessing this competence? What would you tell us about the criteria?
As to the criteria, okay. So first of all, conversational involvement. We can talk about conversational involvement. You know, parties, you know, individuals, speakers and listeners should take place in the conversation. Turn-taking procedures, for example. And empathy, as I told before, and effective communicator, effective listener, okay, appropriateness to the context of situation, and adaptability on the other hand should be attached importance. All right.
Ask you one or two more questions, but before we finish, would you please tell us about the principles for effective communication? Some, are there any golden
Okay, I would like to talk about some golden rules. Must be aware of this. Don't treat them as a fact. All right? Be as much clear as possible. Short, brief, clear. You should focus on what you want to say. Okay? You should focus on what. Do not, you know, be away and learn about yourself first to be able to learn about others. Okay, good. Who you are. What is your own capacity as a teacher, as a learner, okay, as a student, as an individual, whoever you are. You should first be aware of your own capacity in your own personal life and professional life. Then I would like to talk about some kind of principles about communication. It is inescapable, isn't it?
Now, I'm very afraid of saying a few words. I prefer listening now. I'll keep my mouth shut.
It is inescapable. There is no way out. Okay? It is irreversible. A process in constant change. Okay?
Yes.
There are some ups and downs in the communication process. There are some kind of rules that are a system of rules that I touched upon a while ago. Communication messages are both verbal and non-verbal. And those messages, communication messages, can be intentional or unintentional. Okay? And what else? Every communication message should have a content, has a content about your own relationship with your own students. It involves different levels of implications. Okay, the way that I try to implicate, something, it may change. And it is transactional. It starts first in a transactional way and continues and may end up either in transactional or interactional ways. And it is a kind of process, communication process involves mutual influence. You may influence me and I may influence you, okay, in our communication process. Then communication occurs in a given context, in a certain context of situation that might influence the process of communication. That's another important part of communication process, the context. The context, because determines the meaning.
And also fun listening to you, Hocam. Let me ask you one more thing before we finish. We're running out of time, unfortunately. One of the questions is there a book you would suggest? Is there a book you would recommend for the audience? Yes.
Okay.
When
I started to, to teach the communication skills to my students, I searched the market and seen that there is not a kind specific book on communication skills, purposes,
Oh,
and
I understand. Thank you.
We should Google it. There are hundreds of books.
Yes, there are lots.
On the market.
Okay. Maybe if you could just say one or two more things about the otherness theory that we are really interested in. Awareness, isn't it? It's being aware of the other people.
It is a kind of awareness of others. Okay? Being able to put yourself into the shoes of others. Then in further stages, we have intercultural communicative competence,
And we can learn these skills if you follow the principles and remember the rules you have just mentioned, I think.
Yeah, in a sense, yes. Kind of discipline that studies communication across different cultures, okay, social groups. It will help us to become of different cultures and different social groups. Okay, so in that sense, yes, it is really important because it will help us to see how cultural elements affect communication. You are two different individuals, two different people, sometimes from different cultures, you know, okay? Because you do not teach English only to Turkish learners of, okay, Turkish learners in your classrooms. Maybe it is a multilingual class. Have, you know, much more problems than monolingual classrooms. So, social context, okay, that is made up of different individuals from different religions, for example. Religious, really, it is important. Social, ethnic, and educational backgrounds, okay? So it will help you to feel as in the way others feel.
Okay. We'll just start the
Unfortunately, unfortunately.
Again, yes, it's unfortunately we have run out of time. Our next program is going to start in a few minutes. I don't know how to thank you. It's been a great pleasure and honor for us to have you here. Really, thank you so much for dedicating your valuable time and enabling us to benefit from your valuable insight. I really do hope and also wish to see you again in some other occasion. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to express a couple of, to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hocam. Hope to see you again.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Hope to see you.